So how do we stop it? How do we prevent a suicide attempt? How do we deal with this? How can we? If you're concerned that someone you know might be suicidal, take action as soon as possible. Talk with the person directly. Don't beat around the bush. Talk to them and let them know that you are there for them. Let them know that they have options, that whatever seems so important right now might not 6 months or a year from now, and they just have to stick around to experience it. The single most important thing you can do is listen to them without judgment. Talking about suicide seriously decreases the likelihood that someone might attempt suicide. It lessens suicidal feelings. It just helps all around for them to know that you know. I mean, if you confront them and they're angry and they lash out, obviously there are some issues there, and you might need to go for outside help. A parent, a counselor, a teacher, someone you trust to talk about it with and to make sure that they are getting the help that they need. Confidentiality is important, but do not keep the situation a secret if their life is in danger. But don't ever feel like you can't talk about it with them, because there's almost no risk in raising the topic with someone who is considering suicide. It will not make them commit suicide by bringing it up. You're not putting the idea in their head. It's already in there. Talking about it is not going to make it go away, but it's also not going to make them do it. If someone you talk to still commits suicide, it is not your fault. And although we have a responsibility to help people who need help, talking about it, trying to help them, and doing all we can do is the only thing that you are responsible for, because it is ultimately their choice. There are certain things you can ask someone who might be suicidal in order to prompt them into giving you an honest answer. One of those questions is asking them whether the person feels desperate enough to end their life. If the answer is yes, ask, do you have a plan? When and how do you plan to do it? Admit your own concern or fear if the person tells you that they've been thinking about suicide, especially if they actually have plans to do it. But do not react by saying, you shouldn't be having those thoughts. Those things can be bad. Remember, you're being trusted with someone's deepest feelings. Although it may upset you, talking about those feelings will bring the person relief. Remember to find a safe place to talk, somewhere where they feel comfortable and you feel comfortable. Ask if there's anything you can do. Talk about resources that can be drawn on. Their family, their friends, their community, their favorite teacher or counselor, someone that they can trust, whether it's a priest or a school nurse or whoever you feel that you can rely on. Make sure that that person knows that they can rely on you and on those other people. Build a support system for them. Show them that there's people willing to talk. There's always helplines and talk phones. I mean, the Trevor Project is there for anyone. Let the person know that you are available to them. Make plans with them. I'll call you in a few hours. Let's meet up tomorrow. Hey, how about we go to that concert next week? Making plans for the future is a good sign for someone who's suicidal, because they might, I don't want to say feel guilty, but they probably want to fulfill their obligations, and if they keep making obligations, then they're putting off committing suicide. Suicide is not inevitable. It's not unstoppable. You can help someone. Stay in touch. Keep checking up on how they're doing. And, tell them how brave they are for keeping going. Praise their courage for trusting you and for continuing to live and continuing to struggle. That's all you can do. Just be there for them. And try to stop them from becoming a statistic.